This is by far the biggest, I think, that we've ever had. It's also the brightest and the best spirits, isn't it? So big welcome to Tolpuddle for the first timers and the old veterans. There are lots of people who've been coming to Tolpuddle year after year after year, and they've seen it change. I think for the better. I hope you agree. But I just want to start a quick thank you, not to everybody, that would be not possible, but the spirit of this hangs on loads and loads of volunteers, and they're sorting out the toilets, and they're doing the parking, and everything else is marshalling. Give them a big hand, please. The only person I'll pick out, I think, deserves it. She won't hear it because she's on the top car park, I think, still sorting things out. But Tanya Parker, who does all the background stuff, deserves our thanks. I first came to Tolpuddle as regional secretary exactly 20 years ago. I arrived about 11 o'clock, get early on the Sunday to set up. The two tents were already up. The people laid their banners out because there really wasn't anything to do. One of the tents was for VIPs. We still have it actually for VIPs, only this time it's the children. And it's an amazing children's area. The other tent was for the refreshments. Organising farm workers has always been one of the toughest jobs in the labour movement, and we have to rethink, I think, about how we're going to do it, particularly after Brexit, when gangmasters are going to be able to recruit from around the world the most vulnerable people to come and do our seasonal labour, and we need to find ways of protecting them, not just for the trade union movement but a government as well. But I pay tribute to Oliver. He's 90 this year. I hope he's listening. In the corner, he's still living with us. A great stalwart who kept this event going for so many years. He probably wasn't at the centre of women's equality in those days. At one time, the tea and refreshments was advertised as being made by the wives of the committee. And my first experience of Tolpuddle was to receive a Swamp Award. I know you've probably never heard of a Swamp, but Socialist Women on Male Platforms. They used to meet every year at Congress and dish out awards to people who'd forgotten the important role of women, or they'd made sort of expressions that perhaps could have been worded differently. And the year before, Oliver was introducing unprecedented 3 women on the platform up here. It used to be a much smaller event. And he said, it'd be like Ladies' Day at Ascot up here. He was right in the sense, this is the trade union movement's summer party. And we do have a solemn duty, in my opinion, to remember this great story, going back to 1834, and to make sure it's a suitable honour for those who sacrificed, the 6 Tolpuddle martyrs who were arrested and sentenced into slavery. But we don't want it to be a funeral march, and it was becoming one. We want it to be a joyous occasion, a celebration where we laugh and sing, we argue perhaps, we debate, we get provoked and inspired. I hope this is a fitting event of the spirit of the trade union movement today, because we're going to need that. The trade union movement has always been about solidarity, strength and compassion. And the Squire Frampton, who had the 6 martyrs sent into slavery on a stitched up charge of taking a secret oath. It's no different today. If you're in Sports Direct or wherever, if you've got a bad boss to deal with, you have to mobilise your arguments with a degree of secrecy sometimes, and you have to build your strength before you can confront the employer with a degree of power. They learned that lesson. Unfortunately, they got stitched up for it, but the unions then made sure that the families left behind were still looked after. That That pissed off the squire even more, actually. Sorry, it was my language, but the truth was that he was in charge of parish relief, and he denied the families, said that the men should have thought about that before they were paying the subscriptions to the union. But the unions made sure that they were protected. They collected the money to look after the families until the men were freed and returned in triumph. It's still doing that today. It's called benefit sanctions, isn't it? We've got to remember that and also show our compassion. But anyway, the solidarity that this is all about, we're going to need. I am convinced that if we can learn the perseverance, the unity that the campaigners showed in 1834 to free the Tolpuddle martyrs, we are going to see an unprecedented victory of our arguments. The tide is turning in our favour. We can win. Thank you very much.